guys, it's Bro You Whack, and with a brand new season means it's a brand new opportunity to become delusional once again and thinking we're gonna get to the next rank in competitive Overwatch. I'm one of those people. Today, I wanted to talk about some of the best heroes to play in Season 5. Typically, I like to bring these earlier in the week whenever a new season starts, but we got the World Cup skins, and yeah! Now more so than ever, we're not only seeing a lot more variety of heroes, where not one single hero is dominating the meta like Soldier in Season 1, but also sort of like a counter meta, where if a specific tank is played, they're going to play a different tank, but on top of that, different DPS and different support and try to counter those DPS heroes. And I say that because there's going to be some heroes I talk about in this video that are going to be great heroes to play, but aren't invincible. They're going to have some kryptonite, they're going to have some counters picked by other heroes in the same role, or by other heroes in a different role. So today, let's talk about 1 tank, 2 DPS, and 2 support heroes that I think are going to be great heroes to play in Season 5 on their own, not necessarily together. Like, these 5 heroes shouldn't necessarily make up a composition, but could just be great options for you to try to either learn a new hero or just try to switch to. But the first role that we're going to be talking about, which is tank, is I think the most influential pick when it comes to not only your composition, but obviously the enemy composition. But for Season 5, who I think is going to be the best tank to play in like a general setting is Rampart. Now, I say a general setting because someone like Winston is also another great tank pick, and unfortunately, we don't have 2 tank options in Overwatch 2. But when it comes to someone like Winston, obviously if they're playing someone like a Hanzo or a Genji or someone that Winston can easily counter, you know, Winston's a great hero to put pressure on. But the main reason why I like Rampart a little bit more than Winston in this season is I feel like you just get way more damage off with Rampart compared to Winston, most definitely, but also sometimes more than your own DPS heroes. At least in my experience, I've been getting tons of damage off with Rampart, and maybe that's saying more about my own playstyle as Rampart because I'm a lot more aggro, but that's the beautiful part about Rampart, is that you can bring up your shield whenever you're in Omnic form, and then when you can transform into Nemesis form, and then just go full guns blaze, or should I say punch blazes with your punch abilities. Plus, you have an ultimate that is the closest to pressing the I win button, as long as you have even just one of your support heroes supporting you while you're being aggro, you're gonna get tons of damage off, and you're also gonna be able to block a lot of incoming damage, where you're gonna have so much sustainability that you should end up with like 2, 3, 4, sometimes even all 5 kills. While Winston's the more team-oriented hero if you want to make coordinated dives, Rampart is someone that if you're a one-man show, similar to me where I play a lot of solo queue, I feel like Rampart is very favorable to that type of playstyle, or at the very least very forgiving, whether you're in Omnic form or a Nemesis form where you don't necessarily need to be on target because the Ps are, there's a lot of them firing at a given time, or with your punches because you don't need to be dead center on the target. You can be off-centered and still get damage off. Now, when it comes to DPS, this is something that so many people argue, no, this hero's better, no, this hero's really good, and once again, it really does depend on what type of tank is being played. If a diva is being played, you're not going to want to play someone like Soldier, but that doesn't necessarily mean Soldier's a terrible DPS to play. But in my personal opinion, even after the nerfs, and this might sound crazy, but I do think Hanzo's a great DPS once again to play in Season 5. After the Widowmaker nerfs, Widowmaker is useless. You do not play Widowmaker, but after the Hanzo nerfs, I would say he is the better sniper. No, he is the best sniper because you quite literally beat Widowmaker as long as you're 40 meters plus away. But we're not really here to discuss just a Widow v Hanzo or Sniper v Sniper battle. We're just talking about simply DPS, damage per second. And Hanzo got that, bruh. The only time that Hanzo don't got that, bruh, is when they have someone like a Winston that I mentioned before, or a diva, or someone that could just put pressure on the Hanzo fast enough before the supports or even your own tank can come and peel and rescue you as Hanzo. But Hanzo has very high, consistent DPS where sometimes you just need to aim in the general direction of the enemy and you're bound to get a random headshot eventually. And if you don't, then you have your storm arrows that you can just shoot into the corridor of heroes, shoot into like a Reinhardt shield if they have something like that, and you can burn the shield down. Like this is the reason why I hate Hanzo, is because he's not only a great sniper, but he can also win fights up close from medium range. He can burn down tanks, he can burn down shields, he can burn down a lot of things that you wouldn't imagine. And plus, he's also easy. Like, he's easy. I don't understand why people have trouble playing Hanzo. He is the easiest DPS hero to play, and he's also good at it. Plus, considering what I said before, Rampart being a popular tank hero, Hanzo can be a great counter DPS hero, considering that the shield's gonna go away eventually, exposing the back line. But also, when it comes to Rampart, you're gonna be safe against him because you're gonna be standing far away as Hanzo, which means you're not gonna be taking slaps to the face. Now, if they have a Winston, like I said before, Hanzo's not a great DPS hero to play, but again, that's what this counter meta is all about, where, okay, okay, they play Winston, I shouldn't be playing Hanzo. Now, if they are playing Winston, you know to switch on to Reaper, but I don't think Reaper is the best DPS hero to play in Season 5, but rather Tracer. Now, am I picking Tracer because of Winston? No, and like I said before, I think Rampart is actually going to be the better tank in Season 5 in my personal opinion, but I think just in a general sense, not really even considering what the enemy team is playing, if you're a great DPS player, Tracer will grant you the ability to get lots of DPS kills, and being able to flank behind the enemy team and have the backline exposed and not have a lot of tanks put pressure on you because, well, there's only one tank now in Overwatch 2, that means that Tracer's kind of free to just harass the supports. But once again, this is where the counter meta comes into play, where if they have a Brigitte, okay, yep, Tracer's not a great hero to try to play because Brigitte can at least contain the Tracer, and then when Brigitte ults, obviously can stop the Tracer. But Tracer overall is just a very simple hero. You get a lot of damage off. If you hit the bodies and hit heads consistently, you will just secure very fast kills. And against a lot of popular tanks like Rampart, staying a distance is always great. Winston, you can easily just blink away if he dives you, and if he does, well, then you can easily shoot the bubble and then shoot Winston, and then you can easily chase the Winston and kill him. And that's some of the beauty about Tracer, is that you have great sustainability all on your own and great DPS capabilities. You just gotta be good yourself to be able to handle all that, because Tracer, she's a woman that's a lot to handle, honestly. But we talked about tank, we talked about DPS, now we gotta talk about support. And in Season 5, a very good run-of-the-mill consistent support here to play is Ana. You have so much utility, so much value you can provide for the team, and so much protection on your own, especially considering someone like Tracer, who's probably gonna harass your backline, or Winston if they're gonna dive you, or Rampart, you can anti them and then you can just all focus them. You yourself as Ana can provide that type of value for your team. That's probably gonna go underappreciated, but at least you know you are the reason you won. And plus, if you have a Rampart, you gotta keep up with their aggro playstyle, because that's where they get the most value, is pushing forward, getting you space, but also getting kills with his punches, and you as Ana can provide that sustainability basically all on your own. Plus, the sleep dart's always valuable too, where if they have a flanking Tracer, or really any flank hero like a Genji or a Doomfist, then you can protect yourself. Plus, now in Overwatch 2, you can self-heal as Ana without having to waste your grenade, so that's why I think Ana's an excellent support to play, basically in any season, assuming that you have good aim sense, you're not selfish, and you know when to use your nano boost. Oh, I didn't even talk about the nano boost. Or a nano boost Rampart is always great too. Like, there's just so much value from just one single sniper grandma. And when it comes to the other support hero that I think is going to be excellent play in Season 5, I was going back and forth between two heroes. Is it Brigitte or is it Kariko? And I feel like for the general population, I feel like it's more easier to provide value with Kariko than it is Brigitte. However, when it comes to Brigitte, I feel like she's the answer for a lot of countered heroes, like I mentioned before, with Tracer or Genji, or if you need to stop a Doomfist. But then again, if you want to stop a Doomfist, just play Sombra, and that'll make him mad enough to switch off. But when it comes to Kariko, kind of similar to Ana, you provide a lot of initial value, very easy value for your team, either by consistent heals from long distances away, or with the cleansing grenade, where if they have like an Ana anti-grenade, that's an excellent answer too. Like, if they have an Ana on the enemy team, you better be playing a Kariko to try to answer their anti-grenade, because otherwise, it's going to be easy pickings from there. Plus, Swift Step can help protect you from a flanking Tracer, or really anybody that's putting pressure on you as a support hero, which is very important to consider, because if you die on the field, that is probably the most hurtful death out of all of the categories. And let us not forget about Kariko's ultimate, the Kasune Rush. Everybody eats with a Kasune Rush. Admittedly, if you're a Soldier 76 with Attack Visor, you eat a little bit more than, say, someone like a Hanzo, but that doesn't mean you don't provide value for your DPS, but you especially provide value for the aggro Rampart. But once again, the idea with all these heroes is that they're not necessarily supposed to play with each other. I mean, obviously they can, but the point of these videos is to recommend heroes that can do good on their own in case you are a solo queue player, or even a duo. Like, if you're playing as a Rampart and you have an Ana, well, that's an excellent combo. But if you're playing by yourself and you play as Rampart, you have so much sustainability at your fingertips, or should I say at your fist tips, that even if you have dog support heroes, well, you shouldn't be dying as much, because you're not going in aggro thinking that you're gonna get sustainability when you're probably not, like someone like a Diva, for an example. But these 5 heroes, Rampart, Hanzo, Tracer, Ana, and Kariko, I think are gonna be excellent picks to play. But once again, the best hero for you to play is the hero that you're best with. But if you want to learn a new hero, then that just means that you're gonna get better at Overwatch. I almost guarantee it. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and good luck in Season 5, and bye.